So we'll say a story time while we got the good Latino folklore music playing in the back. We'll say it's story time. All right. So today's story time is going to be about the time that I went to jail. The time I went to jail. Hella funny. So, and there's going to be a reason why I'm going into a personal story about the time that I went to jail. I'm going to always tie it up with a nice, pretty bow at the end of the video with a good moral story or a moral to the story, I should say. So, I was around 18, 18, and the circumstances that was going on in my life was I was homeless. I didn't have nowhere to live, and I ended up staying with my friend. And I'm not gonna go into the details of why I was homeless though, but I ended up staying with my partner, and that was my best friend at the time. We were rap group mates, I should say. And he's a lazy fucker. If you're watching right now, you a lazy fucker. Still a lazy fucker. Lazy fucker. But there's a reason why I call him a lazy fucker in this story, is because some OGs, well, I can't even say OGs, some YG OGs, some young OGs have moved into the same complex. It was from East Palo Alto. And if you know anything about East Palo Alto, you know it ain't a joke. So, anyways, um, so the young OGs put some dope in my partner's hand, and he made some bread hella fast. I seen this nigga make like $90 in a minute, and this nigga lazy. So I'm like, this nigga right here, yo. So I'm like, if this lazy ass nigga can make $90 a minute, I know I can get on. So at the time, I was getting unemployment, right? And so I had some bread in my pocket. You know what I mean? So I took, I shouldn't even be saying all that. We'll just say whatever. 9 times out of 10, what ended up happening was the young OGs doubled up my money. Feel me? The young OGs doubled up my money. So I spent whatever, they doubled it up. Cool. So now I have some little punk ass rocks. So I have some punk ass rocks. I'm not a hustler like that as far as selling dope. That never was really my forte. You know what I mean? I was just simply trying to survive. You know? And so I had just cut my hair off, because I used to have long hair, long braids and shit. I cut my hair off to about this length. Damn near to the T, to about this length. So I'm fresh in the game. Hair this length, not really knowing what to do with it. So I decided to go get my hair cut in the town. And for those who don't know, the town is Oakland. Okay? I know everybody calling their city the town now, but the town is the O. Alright? So So I get on the BART. The BART is like our subway system, right? I'm on a bike though. So I take my bike on the BART train. The BART is a train. So I get on the BART and I'm like, well, let me keep these punk ass rocks. So I only had 2 rocks. 2. Only had 2. Only had 2 rocks. Punk ass, $20. $20 worth of dough. Hella weak though. Right? So I was like, man, because on my way there, I might bust a knot, make a little money to pay for my haircut. Right? So I'm staying in Hayward at the time. So yeah, I know. This is what I'm saying. It's a story time. It's story time. So I'm staying in Hayward at the time. So I'm getting on the BART train to go to Oakland to get my haircut. So I'm on the BART. I got the rocks in my mouth and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's what you're supposed to do. Because that's what dope dealers do. They keep the rocks in their mouth. Right. I just dropped the phone. Right. The sun is really fucking up right now. Let me move this. Alright. So I got the rocks in my mouth, right? So I get off the BART train. I get off on Fruitvale BART station. Get off on Fruitvale BART stop. I get off the BART. I'm riding my bike down Fruitvale. Up Fruitvale, actually. So, I ride my bike. I'm like, man, let me take these rocks out of my mouth before, I start getting high off the shit. And they was getting soggy. So I take the rocks, 2 punk ass rocks, $20 worth of dope. Right? I put them in my pocket. This is a funny ass story. It's funny, but it ain't funny. I put it in my pocket. I continue to ride up the street. Now, back in the days, in the 90s, right? Back in the 90s, they used to have sweeps in the town, meaning around election time, the police would just sweep the streets and just pick people up for no reasons. Just not everybody, right? Cool. So, ironically for me, it was sweep time. So, next thing I know, 12 cop cars surround me. Woo, 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 from everywhere, right? Get on the ground. Stop. I'm like, I stop. They like, yo. You fit the description. The description of what? There was a robbery in the area. Robbery of what? It don't matter. You got any weapons or drugs on you? I already know what time it is because the rocks are in my pocket. I should have kept them in my mouth. I would have swallowed them. I would have been okay. But I didn't. The universe was teaching me a lesson. So, they go in my pocket like, oh, well, Mr. Jenkins, what do we have here? A little cocaine. Yeah, so long story short, or long story longer than it has to be, is they took me down to, what's it called, West County? North County, right? And I'm in the county jail. So my bunkmate like, yo, this your first offense? I'm like, yeah. He's like, don't trip, just tell them that you smoke rocks. They gon' OR you and give you drug diversion. This nigga was younger than me. This nigga already knew all the motherfucking get up about the whole shit. So boom. I have my court date. I don't even have to say that I smoke crack. You know what I'm saying? They just like, oh, it's your first offense, blah, blah, blah. You got 2 options. You can either serve 30 days and get out with a felony and be on probation, or you can take drug diversion. Oh, what's drug diversion? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Drug diversion means that you're going to have to piss test twice a week. You're going to have to go to NA meetings, Narcotics Anonymous meetings, twice a week. You're going to have to take a drug diversion class once a week. And if you do this for a year, there will be no record. There will be no felony on your record, and it'll be wiped clean. Give me the drug diversion. Cool. So I get out on the drug diversion, and um, at that time, I moved out to Antioch, right, to live with my grandmother because apparently I was getting into a bit of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't have a car. So if you know anything about the Bay Area, to get from Antioch to Oakland or Hayward on bus and BART takes hours, takes the majority of the day, right? So I would get up. I had got a job working overnight at a toy store. So I would work overnight, get off of work in the morning in Hayward at the mall. Get off at the mall. Get off work, right? Get on the BART. Try not to go to sleep, because sometimes I would go to sleep and end up at a different location and have to get back on the BART to get all the way back out to Antioch to get on the bus that took hours just to get to my nana's house to sleep for a couple of hours, to get back up, to get back on the bus for hours, to get back on the train for hours, to get to Hayward just to go to work. But I had to do this all at the same time that I had to do the two classes, the two NA meetings, the two piss tests in Oakland, and the drug diversion class that I had to pay for. So I worked, I did the two NA meetings a week, I did the two piss tests a week, and I did the drug diversion class once a week. I did all of this for 1 year. I did it all for 1 year. I didn't fuck up on a piss test. I didn't miss a motherfucking NA meeting. I didn't miss a class. I did it for a year. When it came time for me to go in front of the judge after I completed it, the judge was like, yo, Mr. Jenkins, I want to tell you something. You ought to be very, very proud of yourself. Not many people finish this program. You're one of the very few people. So I just want to say that you have a lot of perseverance, you have a lot of determination, and you should be very proud of yourself. You know? So with that, the judge wiped my record clean. No felonies, no nothing. Right? So I'm good. And at the time, I was just doing what I felt like I needed to do for myself, for my future. I didn't really look at how difficult it was. I just did it. You know what I mean? So I share this story with y'all, with the good people, the family, to say that nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. Not me, not you, not nobody that you can see or touch right now. Nobody is perfect. A lot of times on this social media apparatus that we keep in our hands, our phones, our tablets, we come across a lot of personas that come across like they perfect, and they are not. Or they'll like to glorify and glamorize their imperfections as a gimmick. This is neither. This is none of that. Be okay with your imperfections. Your imperfections are perfections. You can't go through this life unscathed, and you can't harp and dwell on the things that have made you who you are. You can't. You have to embrace it all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the love, the pain. All of it is what makes you you. And all of it is what makes you unique. The second part that I want to drive home of why I even shared this story time is perseverance. I'm saying this to y'all to remind myself that you gotta keep pushing, no matter how many. Shout out to YK the Truth. No matter how rocky or fucking hard the road seems, the battle is already won. We just gotta go through the story. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you cut from a certain cloth and you them people. You know what I'm saying? And I say this in a time of despair and what seems like darkness, you know? Because the world that we live in is a very interesting, tricky place right now. You know what I'm saying? It's really interesting and it's tricky. And it's a lot of felonious facades that are all around, man. Like that whole matrix curtain, man, of this fake shit is getting thicker, man. People are walking around with these big ass grins on their face, and they really ain't grinning though. That's the scary part, you know. So stay positive, keep your energy high, stay around like vibrating people. I'm not even gonna say like minded, just like vibrating because shit, at least you could catch a vibration for a motherfucker. You ain't gotta share the same mentality, but shit, catch a vibration, you know, and just push through it, you know, push through it, push through it. I love sharing these types of stories with y'all. You know, sometimes getting too personal at times. You know what I'm saying? But I do it because somebody needs to hear it. But 9 times out of 10, that somebody be me. I need to tell myself. You know what I mean? I need to tell myself what I'm telling y'all, and that's what this is. It never hurts to remind yourself of some things, you know. But I hope y'all have been well, and I will be checking back in shortly as soon as I cut my hair. As soon as I cut this shit, I'm gonna cut this shit up. All right, peace.